Greetings, viewers. Some of you might know, or you might not, that Linux Mint Debian Edition 3 will be end of life on July 1st of 2020. And unlike recent Windows end of life reports, there is something easy that you can do and something that I will actually recommend that you do. So today we're going to show you how to upgrade from Linux Mint Debian Edition 3 to Linux Mint Debian Edition 4. Of course, you need to have a system that is running Linux Mint Debian Edition 3, which I've got sitting right in front of me. If you are running Linux Mint Debian Edition 2 for whatever reason, and you want to go from 2 to 3, you should follow my guide. I've got one uploaded on this channel as well. However, if you're running Mate, unfortunately you cannot go any further than LMDE4, which I think is a really disappointing decision that the Linux Mint folks took, since the Mate desktop is infinitely superior to Cinnamon, but whatever. That's a very hotly contested debate that I'm not really going to get into. If you don't agree with me, that's perfectly alright. It's not the point of this video. Okay, so the first thing to do, you're going to need to update the system fully, so we will do that. It claims to be up to date. And this mouse is really not working. But we'll go ahead and refresh and install all of the updates. The next thing that you're going to need to do is you are going to need to run a time shift backup. And it will complain at you if you don't set this up. So you will have to set it up. Even if you turn it off afterwards. Although it's a small price to pay for backups to have to set this up. So always a good idea to have one. Now here's the first step that differs from previous upgrades. You need to remove prior versions of Linux Mint Debian Edition used unofficial multimedia packages, and they are no longer supported in the newer version. So what we're going to do is, as the super user, we're going to go to that directory and we're going to edit this file. It's the only file that's there. And at the bottom of this thing here, we will get rid of this, at least temporarily. Now my keyboard's a little different because it's the French standard keyboard, so some of the characters are in the wrong place. But once we've done that, update your cache. Well, help if you don't do the wrong thing. Now we lost our focus, but I think you can see what we're trying to do here. Now what we do is we go to the software sources thing, go to maintenance, and downgrade foreign packages first. You might ask me for my password. And we will select them all and downgrade them. And then it should ask me for my password. No, it doesn't ask me for my password, okay. Probably because I might have done it as root, I don't know. Now that's concluded. Close it. We go to remove foreign packages, and this will get rid of whatever's left. And there still is quite a bit of stuff there. The only things that we don't need to deal with are these Linux headers, so we'll leave those alone. That might be a problem if we want to install those. So you want to leave these there. Basically what you're looking for really are packages that have DMO in their name. So that would be this DMO1, DMO3, that kind of thing. And then there's this keyring package up here which belonged to that repository that we don't need anymore. So we'll hit remove. And I'd imagine something similar is going to pop up when we do that. With that out of the way, we will want to install the Mint upgrade tool. again, as a super user. And here's where we'll start the upgrade process. This will do a couple of things. Or maybe it'll just be completely stupid. So I guess these commands don't need super user access. It's asking me to remove a package, so if you come into the same problem, you will need to do that. Go ahead and run the command again. And it will do a couple of things. Make sure that you understand what you're doing, and don't just blindly hit yes to everything. This is usually a pretty foolproof process, but if something goes wrong, you probably ought to know what the upgrade tool is doing. Of course, you've also got your time shift backup, so maybe it doesn't matter as much. Once that's all done, the next thing that we are going to do is download the packages and just make sure that we can download everything before we run the actual upgrade, because the worst thing that could possibly happen is if you're trying to run the upgrade and then the download fails. Again, this is important to note that all of your third-party repositories and your PPAs will be removed. Of course, they'll go to a backup, but you'll have to add them back later. And now comes the irreversible part, actually running the upgrade. So we'll let it go. Well, we'll enter our password, then we'll let it go. This is your last chance to stop when this shows up. This is a nightmare. As seems to be usual the case with these upgrade tools, they don't work. And recovering from them is more than a little obtuse and opaque. It takes a lot of trial and error and extensive knowledge of the command line in order to fix. So here's the symptom. You put your system down, out of the way, it's doing its little update thing. You walk away, you come back in about an hour, or in my case, about 3 hours, and the system has seemingly locked up. There's no disk activity. There's seemingly no other activity. But it hasn't totally locked up because you can still move the mouse around the screen. You just can't click on anything. Or open any other programs. Or can't enter any keyboard combinations. You can't do anything. What's actually happened is the GUI has crashed. Because Cinnamon is a piece of crap that apparently can't handle having programs or the packages underneath it being upgraded while it's running. Seems really stupid because every other graphical user interface in the history of ever can do this. Cinnamon can't. Because this isn't the first time I've had a go-around with Cinnamon breaking itself after you upgrade packages related to it. Anyway, so whatever. How do you fix this? The official guide tells you to log out completely, switch to a terminal from the GUI to command line, and run the upgrade tool from there. Well, there's a couple problems with this. Number one is you can't log out, short of forcefully shutting the system down and restarting it. So what do? This is one of the many reasons why I tell everybody they should set up the root superuser account with a password, even if they're never going to use it. Because it comes in real handy. Oh sure, you can probably do this without having that. You could probably use sudo for this. But what you're doing, effectively, is killing every process associated with a username. And I don't know what kind of mayhem is going to be the end result of killing all the processes associated with the user that is currently logged in. So, what you do, you push Control-Alt-F1 to get yourself to a terminal login. No GUI, no nothing. You log in as root, or I guess if you ignore me and you don't have it set up, you can use your own account, whatever. The command you need is pkill-9 -u and then the username. You enter that. The system will do some stuff. And then, apparently because it can't handle the fact that something random was just killed in some random place, it will boot you back to the GUI and ask you to log in. Ignore that. Press Control-Alt-F1 again. Log out of root. Log back in as your username. Then, you can't just go and run the upgrade tool. You have to run the command sudo dpkg, dpackage, --configure -a. It'll do a bunch of stuff, and then you can run the upgrade tool again. At that point, you have a system that is now once again upgrading itself, and now, since we're running in a console, we don't have to worry about some stupid GUI that was half-baked and wasn't designed properly that's going to crash out from underneath us and cause us problems. So, we'll let this continue. Hopefully it will actually complete this time. I mean, this is supposed to be a how-to video. You're not really supposed to be getting too opinionated or anything like that. But simple fact of the matter is, there are certain things that rile me up, and certain packages of Linux that I hate, and the Cinnamon desktop is one of them. I think it's a piece of half-baked crap. Because, like I said, it tends to have problems like this all the time. And sometimes you don't even need to do anything to trigger these little gotchas and oopsies. And you know, the very fact that this seems to be a common enough problem that they have to mention this prominently in their upgrade guide is really quite sad. One other thing that's worth noting, if the camera would quit doing its weird autofocus thing, if you've had enough scares through this, I don't know why it keeps doing that. But after, I think it's about a minute of inactivity, the console will go blank. Just push a key, it'll come back. No problem. This is the message that we want to see when it's done. Of course, because it's Linux, you gotta do sudo reboot. Whatever, sure. Okay, well, apparently it broke my auto login. That was a little concerning, but it did actually let me back in. And what did it do? It gave me a little triangle exclamation point thing there in the taskbar. And this is the first thing it pops up with. This is completely useless. I don't know why it feels the need to tell me about this. It doesn't matter. It's already there in the first place, so whatever. Language packs might be a little more interesting, so we'll go ahead and we'll install those, and then we'll take care of the rest of this upgrade. Okay, now that that's done, get out of this, go back into the software sources, if I can remember where it is. You'll note the new background, which I think looks really boring. Regardless, go back into maintenance. You go to downgrade foreign packages. Now there might be something here, there might not. Looks like there is just the one. So we'll let it do its thing, and I might just sit here and let the camera run. This video hasn't got long enough already anyway. Well, this isn't a very fast process. That's it for that. And now, go to Remove Foreign Packages. And there's a bunch of crap in here. Hopefully that's not going to present a problem since there are so many of them. Okay, I rebooted the system after doing that, and it still boots, so it's not totally broken at least. And that is in fact the end of the process. So if you've got any further comments or questions, please do feel free to leave them down below. I would like to thank you for watching if you made it this far. Hopefully your process will go a little bit more smoothly than mine did. Remember that it is normal, supposedly, for it to sit around and wait for, a couple minutes, 10 minutes at a time. But anything else is abnormal and you'll have to recover from it. This is CP666 signing off. Hope to see you next time. Till then.